Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. It's March 10th. I'm Jon Weigell here with Juliet Bennett and Mark Dent, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. The condom industry is expensive, sitting on a pile of money higher than $9 billion. So it would make sense that an inventor would come along and try to shake things up, right? The Spray-On Condom debuted in 2006 and predictably flopped pretty hard. But was it a good idea, and where is the inventor now? We'll chat about all that in a bit, but first, let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. Take it away, Mark.
All right. It's a Monday morning, so why don't we just get this thing started off by talking about fast food. The fast food wars are continuing. Wendy's is now the latest chain to announce a new product, or at least somewhat new. What the chain is doing is rolling out Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions, allowing customers to mix in sauces and toppings to its classic Frosty, which obviously was previously limited to just chocolate or vanilla. The desserts will come with updated cups, lids, and spoons that are, quote, designed for the perfect eating experience. This customized option is part of the chain's goal to boost global sales from $14.5 billion to $18 billion in 3 years and grow worldwide locations by 15%. Let's move on to the pharmacy industry. In case you missed it, Walgreens Boots Alliance is officially going private after completing a $10 billion deal with private equity firm Sycamore Partners. Walgreens saw a 50% drop in share price over the last year, and its market value, once peaking at $100 billion, dropped below $8 billion last year. Okay, let's move on to an update just about tariffs, because they're probably going to be in the news for the next several weeks at least. But the news for now is that in an interview with Fox News on Sunday, President Trump said the tariffs against Canada and Mexico, which are scheduled to go into effect early next month, that they could be higher than the 25% that will be applied. Trump also declined to rule out the possibility that the U.S. would experience a recession this year. Moving on to retail, it could be a tough week for Amazon if a boycott against it is successful. The People's Union USA, which last month called for consumers to stop spending at major retailers for a single day, is now in the middle of a week-long boycott against Amazon. The person who's leading the boycott for the People's Union USA said that he hopes collective action would shake up the system against, quote, one of the biggest, wealthiest, most powerful corporations in the world. And finally, kind of a bummer of a story about physical media. I mean, you gotta love physical media, of course, but it turns out that your physical media collection might be just as ephemeral as digital media. Some DVDs distributed by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment between 2006 and 2008 are now suffering from what's known as disc rot. It's basically rendering them unplayable, with one DVD collector saying they, quote, curdle like milk. In a statement released to the movie news website Joe Blow, Warner Brothers said it would replace the defective discs. However, the issue with that is that some titles are no longer in print or the rights have expired. So the best Warner Brothers can do is offer a title of similar value.
All right, so today's failed product spotlight hovers right on the infamous Spray-On Condom, a very peculiar idea that didn't uproot the condom industry as it intended to do so. So, Juliet, who invented this, and honestly, what even is it?
Noted condom enthusiast Jan Vinzenz Krause, a German guy who loves condoms. And this is what is so fascinating to me about this guy. So this is in the early 2000s. It was 2006 when he invented the Spray-On Condom. But at this time, he was running a website called Online Condom Advisor, and it detailed over 100 brands in an effort to help users find the right one. And, you know, when you think about it, initially it's kind of like, okay, a condom's a condom, right? Like, you know, you got your brands, Trojan, Durex, whatever. But, you know, his whole point was a lot of people don't know what size to get. Everyone is a different shape, a different size. And I think it's probably true that size varies among brands. So his whole deal was helping people find the right one for them. And obviously, safety first. You know, you want a condom that fits. There's no point in getting one that doesn't, that is prone to breakage or falling off. So a really noble quest he was on.
Yeah, good on him. That's actually quite admirable to do something like that. Obviously, it's not the most glamorous thing to talk about or not embarrassing thing to speak about to people. So It's very exciting that he kind of put his stamp as the condom guy and an overall inventor eventually. So talk to me about this invention of his, the spray-on condom. So we know he's a big condom enthusiast and he wanted to kind of get in on the market for himself. How did he do that?
So one day he's in the car wash, a place where many people, I assume, have incredible ideas. And it occurred to him that if there were a tube that a person could stick their penis in, and if that tube were full of nozzles, that device could coat one's penis in liquid latex, much like the car going through the car wash gets cleaned from every side by all of the nozzles around the car. So he has this brilliant idea in the car wash. Basically, what if my car were a penis? Is basically his idea. And, all right, credit where credit is due. So he goes to the hardware store. He, in an interview, said he felt a little like MacGyver. I'm sure MacGyver has made many similar devices, where just using materials from the local hardware store, he basically made a prototype of the spray-on condom.
Wow.
All by himself.
Wow. That's very impressive to take this idea from the car wash and then turn it into something physical. That's pretty awesome. Obviously, it didn't gain a lot of traction, as I never heard of it before this story. But what were the problems with the spray-on condom? Was there a catastrophic issue with it, or was it just so ridiculous that nobody wanted to buy it?
I think it's pretty much the latter, and he did test it on himself and a few other people. But a lot of people were, I think, understandably reluctant to put their penis in a mysterious tube. Like, I would be reluctant to put my hand in the pain box in Dune that everyone has to put their hand in.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that with a more sensitive body part, so I get it.
Oh, God. Yeah, even if I was a Lisan al-Gaib, I would stay away from that thing, probably.
Right. And for the people who could get over putting their penis in the tube, the latex was actually cold, which not ideal. And then once it was sprayed, it took 3 minutes to dry. So if you're thinking about being in the moment, now it's this whole ordeal where it's like, I got to do this tube thing. And it's cold. That's a big mood killer. And now we got to sit here for 3 minutes while this dries. And beyond that, even though Krause and other people did test this product and it appeared to work, it was actually never used during intercourse. So it was never proven if this worked as intended, if it would prevent pregnancy and STDs. So kind of just never got off the ground. And then he realized, because he's in Germany, as we said, that it would be really difficult to clear the EU's product standards. And so after about 2 years in 2008, he just kind of gave up on the dream.
But is that the death of this idea? Was there a continuation of any kind? Because honestly, this Krause guy sounds like he really wanted to get this done. Is there any kind of other way that he went about it, or did somebody else take the idea?
Yes to both of those. So Krause is still at it with the condom thing. He has a company called Vinergy, and it has several spinoffs. There's another condom review site. He has a custom branded condom company, which it looks like if you want your company to have branded condoms to give away at, I don't know, a convention, you could totally do that. And there probably are some companies that, that would make sense. He also has his own condom line called Mr. Size, which comes in multiple sizes and shapes, which is exactly why he had the condom review site in the first place. Also, I read an input that he holds the world record for the tallest pyramid built out of cookies at 4 feet, 10 inches. Incredible.
This is a Renaissance man. A Renaissance man right here.
What can't he do? And there was also another person who tried to create a spray-on condom, which I thought was interesting because when I first saw the headline about a spray-on condom, I just assumed it would be like, I don't know, hairspray, like an aerosol can.
Yes, I thought so too.
Yeah, the tube was like, I was like, that's more clever than I thought. But, that was also part of the problem. People didn't want to use the tube. So there was a student, designer Michelle Chu, as a student. She had a project where she created a spray-on condom, and this one did come in an aerosol can. She did this in 2015. She had a couple other sexual health product ideas that seemed to be a part of that package. But as far as I could tell, going through her work, that also never became a real product that you could buy. That was just, another prototype as part of a project.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, it makes a lot of sense that somebody would want to get in on something like this because, as you mentioned up top in this article, the condom industry is worth over $9 billion, which is just a staggering number. Mm-hmm. So for someone to kind of try to get in here and turn that on its head and create a whole entirely new product, I mean, I think there's quite a lot of opportunity here to do something like that. I'm surprised, actually, that more people have not tried to do a similar thing that would change the way that you use condoms.
Me too. And, I was thinking, if this were a viable idea, that one of the bigger companies would get in on it. And I thought I saw a Durex ad for a spray-on condom. And I was like, oh, of course. Like, I would assume it would be Trojan or Durex or one of those companies. And it turned out to only be an April Fool's thing. So maybe it's just not possible. I saw some people saying that part of the problem would be that like a standard condom has a reservoir tip so that, fluids have a place to go. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't know what the problem would be. Like, I don't know the physics of this. I do not study this type of engineering, but there must be some sort of like actual problem because, you would think someone would have done it by now if it were viable.
Yeah. And I guess there isn't exactly somebody that's actively researching how to do this day in and day out because, things have been invented like VR and I don't know, ShamWow. There could be a spray-on condom if people tried hard enough and put their heads onto it. But I guess it just seems like something that wouldn't exactly come into fruition very easily.
Yeah. You know what it feels like? It feels like we're going to get fully automated sex bots before we get a spray-on condom.
Probably. Yeah. There will be another thing that happens way before that, I'm sure.
That's probably happening right now. And that is another thing I'm no expert in.
Yeah, of course. Well, this was a fun discussion. I am very, very curious about this man and all of his condom and cookie exploits now. I think I'm going to do some good Googles after this.
Good. Let me know if you find anything new.
Will do. All right, and that'll do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. Got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and throw us a follow on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. Thanks a bunch. See you later.